Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Muibat, and today I am going to be talking on FGM. So, FGM is the acronym for female genital mutilation. I've heard about FGM for a long time, but my first major write-up on FGM came up last year when I watched a particular video on YouTube by a victim of FGM. Her name was Khadija. There she talked about how the act happened, how she felt, how traumatic it was for her, the aftermath. So I was told, because that was like hearing from the horse's mouth. This was somebody who was actually was there. She was there. She had the whole experience, and for her to say this story, it meant a lot. And why would parents want to circumcise their female children? Like, why is it so important to cut out a part of their natural self? You may want to find out too, because I am going to be saying it. So some people felt like there's there are certain way a female should behave. Like there is a certain thing that is expected of her or that is not expected. So a female is not expected to have sexual urge or to be aroused. So because of this, in order to prevent her from having this kind of feelings, they cut out their clitoris. And there's this quote that they usually come up with: clitoris are for whore, and if you are not a whore, you don't need it. So in most culture, in some culture around the world, people engage in FGM. So they take their female children there, then they get circumcised, and that is how it happens. But it surprised me that even though there are lots of disadvantage that this FGM poses to girls, that this act is being acted on, people still practice it. Like, during the course of FGM, some women lost their life. During the course of FGM, some people actually have infection due to the kind of crude tools that are being used on them. And due to FGM, some women find it hard to conceive. Due to FGM, it becomes very sad. Like a female during her monthly flow, she finds it very painful, where the flow will not be regular. Like, it won't be like a normal flow that a normal girl would have. It will be something serious. So FGM has actually caused so much things to women. So it doesn't just end with her not knowing what sexual pleasure is. It doesn't just end with not being aroused, not to ever be being horny in her life. So Khadijat, in her video, she was like, when her friends talk about being horny, she was always like, what is being horny? What is horny? That is the kind of feeling that she felt she was lacking. She wanted to feel it. She wanted to have it too. Like, it is not so much of a crime. I don't understand. Like, it's not so much of a crime for a lady to have sexual pleasure. So you are going to cut that part of her life away because you expect that as a woman she should lie down there, then the man should come in, enjoy himself, she feels nothing, then it continues. So when it's childbirth again, it's also another kind of experience for people who had experience with FGM. People who have actually been circumcised, it is not so easy for them to have their childbirth. Like, childbirth is not a joke. I know generally childbirth is something that's said to be very, very painful. So talk about people who actually have this kind of act being acted upon them. So it's also another thing entirely. So the act doesn't just end with her not having sexual urge, her not being horny, not to ever experience what being horny is for the rest of her life. It goes beyond that. Like, it's a kind of wickedness, if I am to say. Like, the act itself is a kind of wickedness acted on the female, on female, like. But because you cannot impute what your own ideology of what is right is on someone else, like, these things that I'm talking about is a kind of culture, and you know how people do take their culture. So this Khadijat was actually taken home. She lives in the city with her parents, but when it was time for her to get circumcised, her mother takes her to the village so that she can actually go through what they think is right for all female in that community. So when it happens, she said when the woman that was responsible for the operation actually caught that thing, like she threw it away. Like there was this kind of action in what she did, as if it's a kind of death that she was like it's a death. She threw it and she didn't glance at it. Like they termed it to be something so dirty. So because this act is something that some women actually go through. When I wrote that story and I posted it on my Facebook timeline, a woman was like, oh, because I made it a kind of narrative story. The woman was like, oh, it's so painful. I've actually had this experience before. And I was like, wow. So these things are happening, and it is left for us to change the narrative. A woman should be free to, feel the way she wants to feel, to be whom she wants to be, to have this kind of knowledge about her sexual life. It shouldn't just be about she trying to satisfy, she not getting any of this kind of pleasure herself. Like I don't think even that reason for her not to get sexual pleasure is enough for anyone to put a lady into this kind of risk. You're putting them in so much risk of of death, risk of not being able to have a child of her own, risk of several infections and lots more. So I do not think because you do not want her to have sexual pleasure, it's enough. So because they think that being horny can actually prompt women to go into prostitution or to start flirting around, they try to curb that as early as they could. So Khadijat was like, when she complained to her mother about it, when she told her mother that it took something from me and it hurt me, like she actually challenged her. The woman was like, I did you a favor. So to the people who are actually indulging in this act, they felt like it is doing a favor to women, to girls. So if this is a favor, then it shouldn't be something that should be so painful. And obviously it's not a favor. Like you are disenabling this girl from experiencing something that naturally should come to her, and all in the name of you do not want her to prostitute or to flirt. So I think there are other way one can actually prevent one's children from prostitution, rather than this kind of natural destruction. So I know that there are lots of women who may not even want to talk about their own side of F.G.M, what the story is to them, and how hard it is to them. But I am saying that you are not alone. And we hope, although there are still several campaigns, there are laws in place for to curb these acts all around the world. But when people say something is their culture, they hold it sacredly, like it becomes sacred to them. It's not something you can just go and you'll be like, this is wrong, you have to stop doing it, and they'll stop. Maybe with continuous preaching, with proper education and lots more support to such girls, and educating them, because some of them do not even know what the act is. Like the Khadijat I was talking about, she was so young when she experienced circumcision. She was so young, but she knew that her mother did something to her that was wrong. So I am saying that women should be allowed to live their natural life without anybody trying to hinder them from certain experience or certain practices. There are lots of ways that you can actually prevent your girl child from all this kind of sexual misconduct without you going through F.G.M, because it's too cruel for a person to do to another. It's sad. So that is why I'm saying that if you ever have the intention of circumcising your girl child, then you should stop. Think about her future. You should think about what she may have to go through after your single act of in which you believe you are doing her a favor, and obviously that is not favor, that is wickedness. So think about what you could cause her in the process and stop. FGM is something that should be discouraged all around the world. It is something that should be banned. It shouldn't be practiced at all. If those girls think they want to do it, maybe when they come of age, when they become like, you know, adults, they want to do it themselves, it's fine, they can go ahead. If that is what they want, it's their decision. But it shouldn't, inflict such thing on any young girl who cannot speak for herself, because it's too cruel. So sometimes, because I said sometimes it's cultural for people to do it to their girl child, because sometimes when you don't do it to your children, I've read scenarios like that. When you don't do it to your from a girl child, others from the society tends to disassociate themselves from you, like it will be as if they're kind of thing that is following you around. People will not want to associate with you. It's as if you are still not cleansed. So FGM is a kind of cleansing girl to some people, and that's a kind of strong ideology again, because you can't just go to someone and be like, since this is cleansing to them, that they should go out dating. So then a lot of education campaign needs to be put in place so that all these things can be stopped. Please talk about FGM, educate people on what FGM is and the danger it can cause to girls that actually have such experience. And I believe that someday, somehow, we are all going to live in a society that will be free from FGM and other forms of cruelty posed on the girl child. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell. Thank you.